Okay, we're here with Jaime Mathis, one of the co-founders of the Bank Card Group. Let's just start by asking you, why did you help start the company with your two partners?
I think the biggest reason for me in working with the previous company was that it was run kind of like it was run like a bank, where they don't really care about the employees. They're more like an employee number, not an employee person, not somebody with a family. And for my previous two companies that I worked for, it always began to feel that way, that it was run by an employee number. And the one thing that I missed the most was being a part of a family and actually caring about the people that worked around you and having to follow those HR rules and regulations. It's not that we don't have HR here, it's just that I want to be able to have fun. I want to have a good company. I want to have a vibrant company and not be worried about some number that somebody up at corporate wants to meet.
Awesome. What did you do before getting into the bank card industry?
Before getting into the bank card industry, I was actually a store director for a major retailer, so retail sales.
Okay, and how long have you been in the bank card industry?
In the bank card industry, 14 years.
Okay, and before you were with the bank, you helped start the Bank Card Group, you were actually an outside salesperson yourself.
Yes.
Can you talk about what it was like your first week in bank card sales?
All right, well, first day I wanted to quit. First week I wanted to quit. Second week I wanted to quit. Honestly, it was probably the toughest thing that I'd ever done. And, I was kind of I didn't have anything else to do, because back then, there was a lot of turmoil because of 9/11 when that happened. And, trying to find a job and find a career that you could actually do and love and enjoy was very difficult. So in starting this, I guess you'd say career, or the first time I ever went cold calling, it was extremely difficult. There was no training, there was nobody there to help you, per se. And it was extremely, extremely difficult. That's the best I could tell you. I mean, it was hard.
How did you, so what did you do? How did you know where to go and what types of merchants to prospect? How did you work through that?
In the beginning, it was really difficult. For the first couple of weeks, the merchants that I particularly went after were merchants that I either frequented or knew, my hairdresser or the flower shop around the corner that I went to, or the bar that I went to on the weekends. Those are the places that I started off with. Now, is that necessarily the places that I'd recommend going to today? Not necessarily. The businesses that I always enjoyed going after were those businesses that were off the beaten path, those businesses that nobody else knocked on their door, the businesses that really, nobody, there's a lot of lazy people in outside sales. So the businesses that I went to were an hour away. I would drive an hour before I'd start cold calling to find that business that I wanted to visit, or that area that I wanted to visit. And that's really what became my cream of the crop in what I did, because I was willing to go out of town or off the beaten path.
Okay. What did you carry in your vehicle while you were out cold calling? Or, after you gained experience, what did you carry in your vehicle?
What I carried was, I carried a tote that basically had all of my marketing materials completely spread out, along with my schedule, my binder. Back then, we didn't have laptops. So that's how I kept my daily routine. Obviously, I had my applications, all of my paperwork, and it was very well organized tote that I used to carry around. And then obviously, when you get, nowadays you carry an iPad, but that's what I carried back then, was all of my marketing, all of my applications.
What did you carry on your person when you were out walking into a business?
Just my business cards, and that was always in my back pocket. I never walked in a suit and tie. I never walked in showing the person that I was a salesman when I walked in that door. They had no idea when I walked in that door that I was actually a salesman.
Okay. How long did it take you to understand merchant statements and just about everything that there is to learn and know in this business?
I'm still learning and I'm still understanding. So in this industry, you will never know everything. It is impossible. The one thing that I guess rookies always ask me is, well, what should I know? Or how do I do this? Or how do I do that? And the biggest thing that hangs up a lot of people, in my opinion, is the fact that they don't want to get out there and knock on the door because they don't know everything. Well, you're never going to know everything in this industry. It is the bar none toughest industry I have ever been a part of. All you have to know is that you work for a great company, you've got a great product, we're going to service the heck out of the account, and go in there and sell yourself. That's what you have to know. We will always take care of the merchant.
When you first started out, how hard did you work? What time did you start your day? What time did you finish?
Well, you say when I first started out. Okay, so I'm going to give you two answers. When I first started out, I walked out the door at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I made my very first cold call at 11 a.m. because I was absolutely scared to death to make that cold call. Now, when I became good and I knew exactly what I was going to do, I was knocking on my first door at 8 a.m.
Okay.
So if I had to drive an hour away, I was leaving my house by 7 a.m. and I was knocking on my first door at 8 a.m. And I always knocked on one more door after 5 o'clock. So if that was 5:01 or 5:05, that was my day.
And how did you learn, I guess, what did you learn to make you comfortable, and how did you learn it to where you started knocking on a door at 8 a.m. instead of 11 a.m.?
I think the biggest thing for me was my first sale. My first sale, I made $750. I was extremely excited. I just saw no end to the possibilities. And at that point, I knew that it was a numbers game. I knew that it was the more doors that I knock on, the more possibilities I had for a yes. The less doors that I knock on, the more possibilities I have for a no. And that's just the way I ran my numbers.
Do you have a few of your favorite lead-ins that you used to use back in your selling days?
Yeah, it's been a while. One of my favorite lead-ins was, when I'd walk into the business, I'd basically say, hey, I'm in the area, I'm actually working with a couple of your neighbors. I'd love to work with you and see what I can do to earn your business.
Okay. What do you think is the most important thing about cold calling?
To have fun.
Have fun. Good.
Have fun, absolutely. You can't do it without fun, so you have to have fun.
And how did you dress when you were out cold calling? What did you wear?
Not this. How did I dress? That depends on my merchant. If I was selling in South Padre, which is a beach environment, I would wear shorts, flip-flops, and a polo shirt. If I'm out in the country where I love to work, I would wear boots and I'd wear a plaid shirt.
Okay, all right. Do you make it known what you do when you're patronizing other people's businesses, and how do you do it?
When I'm shopping,
Shopping
do I
or
make
at a
it know what I do?
restaurant or something like that?
I don't as much as I used to. I can say that today, but I can tell you this. When I do patronize or visit shops and I'm buying something, I'll definitely leave a business card and say, hey, this is what I do. If you ever find yourself in need of assistance or help, give me a call. I'm not here to sell you, because I'm obviously here, buying a product or eating lunch. But if you ever need somebody, give me a call.
Okay. How did you overcome these objections? And I believe these objections they're still there throughout the years. I'm in a contract, or I have a cancellation fee.
Okay.
That's how you overcome it?
Honestly, it's okay. That doesn't have anything to do with the sale that's at hand. So the way you respond to, I have a contract, that's fine. We will always find a solution to your needs. The fact that you know that you're in a contract means that you've looked and checked it out and you're wanting to leave in the first place. Okay. So let me solve that need after we get through the presentation.
This wasn't going on at all earlier.
Quite all right.
You're filling up a conference room or something. Okay, so how about my bank takes care of? I'm with my bank. My bank takes care of my merchant service.
Fantastic. Your bank's your bank's a phenomenal bank. That's the reason you bank there. But to be honest with you, banks are in the business to do banking. They're not in the merchant services business. All they do is hire another company like ourselves to do the merchant services business. So when you actually walk into your bank and you ask them about your credit card services or your credit card processing, they're not going to know the answer. They're going to have to send you somewhere else. So stick with your bank, keep your bank, but let us help you with your merchant services.
Okay. How about the last time I switched? It was a nightmare. There were problems last time I switched.
How long ago was that? And what was the nightmare? And what was the reason that you switched in the first place?
Okay. I've had others look at my rates, and no one can beat them. Nobody can beat my rates.
Well, what I'm talking about is not your rates. I'm talking about your overall bill. And a lot of times people look at the rate, but that's not what matters. What matters to you, I would assume because you're a smart business person, is what comes out of your bank account at the end of the month. Would you agree?
Yes.
I want to talk about your bottom line bill. It has nothing to do with your rates.
Okay. How about I don't keep my statements here?
Great. You want to sign here?
Okay. All right.
No, honestly, I don't keep my statements here. Where your statement's at, let me look at the phone number on the side of your terminal. If you don't mind, let me call the phone number on the side of your terminal and see if I can have them fax it to me. That way next week when I come back, I already have the presentation ready for you.
Okay. Hang on. Are we getting that noise? No? Okay.
I should have looked at some of these questions so I know how to respond.
We don't have. I get to cut.
I like off the cuff.
I get to cut out the good ones.
It's fine.
If you don't like one, we won't. These are going to be overcoming objections to close.
Okay.
I need to check with my partner, my wife, husband, whoever. I need to check with somebody else before I'll sign on the dotted line.
I completely understand where you're coming from. I have to check with my wife as well on a lot of decisions I want to make. But you can see that this is a good decision.
Yep.
Right? So let's do this. Why don't we go ahead and fill out the paperwork. Let me get that out of the way, okay? I'm not going to submit anything. You go home and talk to your spouse. Let them know. They're obviously going to say you made a great decision or a good decision. And then tomorrow I'll give you a follow-up phone call and you tell me yay or nay.
Okay. All right. We're talking about that. I'm too busy. Come back after the first of the year.
Oh, the December response.
Yes.
You know what? I completely understand where you're coming from. I'm busy as well. Let's do this. Why don't you just hand me a statement? Let me at least do my work outside of your area so that you can continue doing your work. And when I come back, all I'll need is an autograph, and then we can get started at the first of next year so that everything's on the new books.
Okay. In most cases, we are saving a merchant money in order to earn their business or, benefit the merchant to switch. Have you ever sold a merchant where there's no savings or you even maybe charge them more than what they're currently paying?
I'll never forget, it was my first month in this business, and it was a sub shop in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I was charging the guy $6 more a month. Walking back in there, I was scared to death to go back in there because I didn't save him any money and I felt like I was wasting his time. And he said, and quote, "Son, if you have the balls to come back in here and charge me more, I know you will service my account." And he signed up.
Okay.
I don't know if you like that word, by the way.
No, that's fine. You should have seen Eric be on. Eric was very animated. Let's talk about what we offer kind of as a company. And I don't really have these questions because I didn't know I was going to be talking to you today. So
Nope.
Let's think about this. Let's talk about what do we do at the bank card group when it comes to our salespeople? How do we? What is our focus? The entire company's focus.
I would say my focus at the bank card group, and I've always believed in this philosophy going all the way back to the big box retailer, is that if I take care of my people first and foremost, the company will come in the end. In other words, if I make each one of my employees the happiest person they can possibly be and absolutely love this job, then the company will do fine. That's my philosophy.
What are some important traits that you feel are that a bank card salesperson would possess? What sort of traits? Can you name a few traits they would have?
If I was going to talk about characteristics of somebody that I think a good bank card salesperson would be, Number one, somebody that can get up in the morning and motivate themselves and get out the door. Number two, somebody that has the drive to continue hitting doors all day long and not really wear a chip on their shoulder or, not get shut down so easily. And number three, a personality that loves to have fun. We can't sweat the small stuff in this business. We've just got to have fun, get out and have fun with others.
If you could give one piece of advice to a person just starting out, what would that be?
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. That's the one. I see so many people over the years that give up too quick. It's hard. This is not an easy career, and anybody that tells you it is, and any of our competitors that says that it's easy and it's just a slice of cake, it's not. The cake is there and the icing too, but you have to work for it. In the first couple of years are tough years, but after that, everybody that I've talked to that's stuck around for a year or two, they will never do anything else.
Yep.
It is the best thing they've ever done in their life.
Okay. All right, man.
Cool?
Good.
All right.
Appreciate you.